So we are here for our segment of portfolio reviews that's sponsored by MCLA's Gallery 51. And we have the pleasure today of having Peter Mays, Director of Los Angeles Art Association, with us. And it is so wonderful to have you here. We've had some really amazing sessions with some of your artists. So it's great to have you here with us
Great.
today. I think one of the things that we most enjoy with having our gallerists here is to be able to get some of their insights and share those with artists who will take advantage of seeing the archived sessions here. So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions, Peter, that we can share. And I'm going to start out with, what do you feel the role is for portfolio reviews and studio visits for galleries? What is the significance of that for artists?
I think basically the main thing that I think is of value is just getting professional feedback. You know, so often artists are sequestered in their studios making art with very or little no feedback at all. And during the time of COVID, it's even exacerbated. So I think that, you know, it's really meeting a need at this time. So, so I think just, you know, just getting the feedback, you know, from people who see art on an ongoing basis routinely. You know, I work with an army of artists, like 500 artists of all media. And, you know, so I think I feel familiar and I feel like I can acknowledge the needs of emerging artists, so.
Yeah. I think you're right to bring up, you know, particularly at this particular time in our history in the midst of this pandemic. Yeah, there is, which is why we've been doing this. I'm sure even a great sense of isolation and disconnection from other artists within the community, and to get that feedback. So when you do these visits and you look over portfolios and you're looking at work, what is it that you're looking for? What do you focus on when you go to a studio visit or look through an artist portfolio? What is it that you're looking for, seeking out, exploring?
I think first of all, like some understanding of what they're trying to do, you know, and toward that end, I kind of like to make my own assessment first and then kind of hear their response, you know, and that includes both, you know, any kind of technical mastery they have, but also, you know, content wise, like what's going on there too. You know, I think a lot of times the content is different from what I interpret it as. And I think that's really of great value to an artist to know what their audience sees, you know, because, you know, artists are by themselves and they're creating their babies and they're very close to them and they're, you know, they're just responding to the moment, but there's not, I always call it like an interior dialogue that an artist has about their own work, but does that translate to an audience?
Yes.
That's what I try to bring to it.
And so, you know, what we hear most from artists, primarily, as you said, when we too try to focus on emerging artists and helping them to navigate and learn what to do and not to do. And it's vast and broad, but if you were to think about the best advice that you could offer an artist who's looking for representation or moving their career forward at an early stage in their career, or at a point where they feel that they don't quite know the direction to go, what's the best advice that you give artists?
I think really just be really honest with yourself that you have a body of work that's ready for prime time. You know, that's you know, if you're still working it out, you may need a little bit more time to kind of refine what you're thinking, what you're doing. And the other part is, you know, just professional practices. I mean, I think just the way you approach a gallery or present your work, you know, that's not an in-person situation is really important. You know, a lot of times I get these JPEGs that are, you know, giant hotspots on them and, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, I'm soft touch, so I let that go. But I know a lot of my colleagues, you know, that goes into the trash immediately. You know, and also, you know, if there's any written material, it's so crucial to have somebody else read it to see if it makes sense to them, preferably somebody not in the art world. So again, that kind of underscores what I was saying before about that interior dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of, a lot of times I get these things that are just, you know, what's in their head is coming out and it's gibberish, you know, and so I like to kind of respond to that too.
Right.
You know, also toward that end, don't tell the viewer what they should feel
Right.
about the work. So I think that's a real, those are three kind of guidelines I think that are important. And also
Yeah.
just back to, if it's in-person presentation of the work too, I think it's really important that it looks presentable and it's, you know, I know a lot of gallerists really are turned off by like student frames, you know, those thin things like that. They warp so easy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, if you have framed work, you know, it's the aspect ratio on your piece in the frame is off. It's, you know, somebody doesn't want to present that in their professional space. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it really is about, I think, I love how you emphasize that it's not just having the review of those within the art world, that those outside of it are just as important, and they can see probably even a little bit more objectively and more specifically what might need to happen. But it is.
They don't have our vocabulary or our insights, so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you, right now in the midst of all of this, has it been difficult, kind of, because you manage this huge collective of artists? How has that been to keep them connected and to give them that feedback they need when all we have is this virtual platform? Has that been fairly effective?
I think, you know, we've kind of moved toward a model of just a series of online exhibitions, one after the other, like just rapid fire. And I think
Yeah.
that's keeping our artists engaged
Yeah.
in that, because it's, you know, they have something that they can make artwork for.
Right.
That said, I'm also in contact with a lot of them individually now too, you know, that are reaching out to me personally for
Right.
phone call or what have you.
Yeah.
We've also done a series of workshops as well online. So
Okay. Okay.
trying
Yeah.
to kind of meet the need that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're all trying to figure
Mhm.
out a way to best navigate this. And I think for all intents and purposes, it definitely has served as an effective vehicle. But yeah, you always wonder how it has worked for different organizations in terms of keeping artists engaged and getting them that feedback they need. Great.
I'm actually surprised at the level of appreciation and about this path that we've been on. So I thought there'd
Yeah.
be a little bit more blowback, like when you opening the gallery and stuff like
Right.
that. And
Right.
I actually had a plan for like July, and then I was going to do September, but the way LA County is right now, we can't. So.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I mean, and I think that across the board, it is about staying vigilant, and everything is changing. I always have this joke that, we create a plan, but we have to create a contingency plan for every plan. So it makes it even exponentially more challenging.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's our new normal right now.
It is.
So we're adapting. Well, I know that our artists are looking forward to having this time with you. So we really thank you for being here, and we are going to shift to that now.
Terrific.